Hello everyone, this is going to be quite the doozy of a video, but I'm going to try and attempt to show you some of the functions of an E600 meter that I'm selling on eBay. So this is the actual unit you'll be getting. This one is pre-merger, so it was made by Eberline rather than Thermo at the time, and they never switched up anything, so it's exactly the same as the Thermo and Thermo Eberline units. It has several features that are very attractive for the advanced amateur. I wouldn't recommend using these for professional purposes because they're just a little too old and worn out to be trusted when it comes to accuracy and precision. And you'd have to get a ISO lab certified calibration in order to do it. This one, let's see, it hasn't been in an ISO lab since December of 2010. However, I did run it through an analog calibration procedure, and it was spot on. And I do mean spot on. There was not even so much as a 0.1% variance on the count rate when it was hooked up to a pulse generator on any of the functions, because it is a digital meter, and it is just not quite like an analog Geiger counter. So the problem we have with E600 is availability of the cabling. I do, however, have a probe cable that I'm including with this, in addition to 3 different probes, one of which is literally impossible to find elsewhere in the world. I have tried, and have tried to get programming parameters for them, but have failed. The probes are very, very expensive for these. This one, this SHP 380AB cost me, I believe, $1750 or $1,800 in gosh, it must have been 2005 or so, right when I started my external consulting business. So the included probes are this pancake probe. It's called the SHP-360AB, that was manufactured by Eberline. It's your standard pancake probe with approximately 15 square centimeters of surface area. It has the thin mica window, which allows for measurement of alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. It is equivalent to your, for instance, Ludlum 44.9, Bicron PGM, Eberline HP-260, and Eberline HP-210s, 210A, 210L, and 210T. So we have the front of the meter here. This is for your data cable. They're available from chpconsultants.com, and I would highly recommend it. I do provide the software. It runs on 32-bit Windows 7, so you're going to have to get yourself a dedicated computer, which I have, that is not included in the sale, right there. So this is a proprietary connector. Now, if you are a tinkerer, you can take these 4 screws out and solder yourself in a cable, or improvise one. And I've had 2 customers in the past do that and be perfectly happy with the results. I paid $550 for the programming cable. That was with an employee discount when I worked for Thermo Fisher. So they really had a cash cow with this specific meter. Calibrations were costly, and one of the big problems, the biggest problem you'll see with these, is that most of the units are bricked because they're set to stop functioning as soon as the calibration date expires. To deal with that, I have set the calibration date to not expire until 2050. So this meter is essentially unlocked, kind of like you'd unlock an iPhone. Same with the probes. All of the probes are good until 2050. If I'm still alive in 2050 and we're all still alive in 2050, send it back and I will gladly punch in 2099 for you. The reason I can't do that now is because I don't want to risk the Y2K problem affecting it. As I've had some meters assume that it is 1999 instead of 2099 when I experimented and programmed them in. Okay, so we're going to plug the probe cable in to the meter, and we're going to plug the other end of the probe cable into the SHP-360, or in other words, the pancake probe. I've put the phone down for a moment. Okay, so notice what it does right there. In fact, I'll turn it off again and show you exactly what it shows. This is a smart meter, so when you plug the probes in, it will recognize the probe and tell you the type of probe you're using in addition to the type of radiation you're detecting. This one just says gamma here, so that's that. Now you have your response rate switch here. I prefer it to stay on slow. It changes the speed at which this number changes. And we're in a bit of a high background area because I have some sources around. But generally, background radiation on these probes runs about 150 counts per minute, sometimes 170. Sometimes slower. But we can solve that, and I will explain that a little later, by using the background subtract mode. And again, I'll get into explaining that a little later. It is a very advanced feature and a very good feature to have when you're working in an area with high radiation. Okay, so you turn it from off to the check mode when you're doing programming or calibration of the meter. And all that does is go into the software and reads which probe you have. And then it goes to this screen here with nothing on it. If you don't see anything right here, that's good. You might see probe fail, you might see HV fail, you might see out of cal. You don't want to see any of those things on a working meter. So if you're looking to buy one from another eBay seller, feel free to consult with me. I know the various sellers of E600s and can tell you which ones to do business with. According to my opinion and recommendation, I do not make commissions on any other sales. So that's that. Okay, so then we're going to go to rate meter mode, which is the mode that we all use most frequently. And you're hearing the background radiation from it now. I'm going to just demonstrate the light feature on it really quick. It has a very pretty backlight. So when you hit that, the light goes on for 5 seconds. Gives you a reasonable amount of time to determine a reading. And looks good. So first we're going to go with some uranium acetate. That's depleted uranium. So it'll give us just a mild count there. I just want you to pay attention to the screen and how quickly it responds. Okay, taking it away. Now I'm going to turn it on the fast mode, and you can see how much more quickly it responds. So if you were able to see that, good for you. All right, just putting that uranium back in its pig. So on the integrate meter, this will give you a scaling feature that will count essentially indefinitely. Right now it's just counting the background, and you can see the number of seconds that it's counting for here. Once it gets to a minute, it'll, instead of showing you 1 minute and 1 second or 1 minute and 10 seconds, it'll do 1.1 minute, 1.2 minute, etc. And we'll keep counting until you want it to stop. And star key resets. So I'll show you once again, star key resets. And let me, you know what, let's switch up. Let's go for something a little different. We're going to use the yellow cake now. Here's our yellow cake. And so it just gives you a total count over a non-fixed period of time. All right, so the next mode we're going to check out is scalar. Now, I have it set for 60 seconds. It'll give you an accurate total count over a 60-second period. We're actually going to wait it out, and I'm going to show you a couple of other things while we're waiting, so you can see what happens when this counts down to 0. It'll just make a beep for you. This right here is the 380 AB probe. Has a very sturdy polymer cover on it, both as a protective layer for the aluminized mylar and as a means to block all alpha and some low energy beta radiations. This right here is the SHP-330. It's identical to the pancake probe in all forms, except it is a sealed gas proportional probe, so it works differently. There we go. Okay, so when your scalar's done, and again, I have it set for 60-second counts, it gives you exactly what you want, just how many counts it experienced in that period of time. Now, you can use the software to set the integrate mode and the scalar to go for different lengths of times. You can set between fixed timer or fixed precision with the integrate and scalar moding, or modalities. Moding. Just made up a new term. So the next feature I'm going to show you is peak hold. So what peak and hold is going to do, it's a peak trap feature. So it's going to show you only the highest reading. So I have this about 3 inches away. Now I'm going to take it away. And it's not going to read any lower than 69200 or 6,920 counts per minute until it experiences a higher radiation field than that. So now it's experiencing a higher radiation field. I've taken out the source again. And once again, you can see it's not going down. So that is the peak value of what it is reading. And I'm going to go ahead and put this directly on the probe, and we'll see what our peak value is. So our yellow cake is reading about 53,100 counts per minute at its peak. And star key resets the peak as well. So it'll go down to 0 when you hit the star key. So next I'm going to show you background reduction. It's the last mode farthest to the right on the meter. When you turn it on, background reduction mode, you need to have all sources out of the area, or all sources that you can do something about out of the area. Because it's just going to be measuring your background radiation and reading out a percentage right here. Now, when it gets down to a low enough percentage, which I usually wait till it gets down to 10% and wait just a few minutes for that. You don't have to. It just makes it more accurate and more precise the longer you wait. And as you can see on the screen, it's giving you an average count of everything that it has. I have 4 different sources out right now, so it's a little higher than it would be normally. So we're at about 14%. Okay, that's good enough. So, gonna hit star key. And now, when we go to other modes, it will reduce the count proportionally to the background count. So right now we'd be seeing probably closer to 250 counts per minute background. I accidentally moved one of my uranium vials a little closer to it. And I don't want to redo the video just because of that. But it does work until you turn the meter off, which resets the check mode. So, or not the check mode, the background count mode. So I'm going to unplug this, and we're going to go with the big SHP-360 AB probe. This is one of my favorite probes ever made, to be quite frank. It's very valuable because it is 100 square centimeter surface area. So you could make your counts, so you can list your counts in counts per minute per 100 square centimeters. It can also be programmed to specific isotopes to read decays per minute, which comes in handy, in particular when you're dealing with stuff like radioiodines in labs. So, I'm going to go ahead and plug the smart connector in here. And as you can see, we're going to go to beta mode because there's really not much alpha for it to count here. Now, this probe, there's a lot of crossover on it, so that means it's going to give you false positives on beta radiation with alpha radiation included. And I just want to be very clear about that. That needs to be changed using software. And unfortunately, when I try to do calibration constants or determination of dead time or anything else with my software, it freezes. So hopefully you're going to get your own software set up. That's what I prefer. Like I said, I do provide the software free of charge. Well, at the cost of a thumb drive and postage for you. I can't send it via email. So this is an extremely sensitive probe. Right here, it's just counting primarily the low to mid energy beta. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's counting alt beta. Right here, I was thinking of a different probe. So I have a 236 nanocurie strontium-90 source that we're going to put on there just to show you its beta counting. Let's put it on the peak and trap mode and see what we get. Putting it on various areas of the probe. So yeah, if you'd like to do your own math to calculate the probe efficiency with strontium-90, you're welcome to use this. Let me put that away because it is definitely interfering with the probe. That is a generally licensed strontium-90 source, by the way. You normally can't get over 1 microcurie at any given time. So it's not exempt quantity. That's why the reading was so high, just to let you know. Now we're going to go with an americium-241 source. This is also a generally licensed source, although it is approximately the same strength as a smoke detector. Can't get that out. There we go. Okay, so we have a, let's see if I can focus on that, an americium-241 0.8 microcurie source. Now notice that's in beta mode. I was telling you about the crossover. Yeah, the crossover is a big, big issue. It's 1,920,000 counts per second right there. So, I can't guarantee that the probe is going to be working flawlessly, but I wanted to make sure to tell you that for full disclosure's sake. If you have the ability to program that in your software and it doesn't freeze like it does on my computer, you will be able to correct that pretty easily. The probe is in physically good condition. There's nothing wrong with the EPROM, right? The RAM, the ROM, the memory. There's nothing wrong with the memory there. So it will hold its settings. Now the probe, I am guaranteeing this meter to work properly with, pretty much unconditionally, is the SHP-360 pancake probe, your industry standard. I'm including the other two probes because I have them to give, and I'm hoping that somebody actually likes or appreciates them. But we shall find out. Okay, so we're starting out on beta mode here. And this is not a particularly sensitive probe until you have it on alpha beta mode. Let me, I shouldn't have put that americium source back. Now I can't get it out of the case. Okay. Well, we have a strontium-90 source again. So, I can't guarantee that this probe is going to work completely perfectly, but it is good for getting low energy beta counts in particular. So, enjoy it. I'm including it as the SHP-360 as the primary probe, and these other two alpha beta probes are kind of your secondary. Don't quite work perfectly, but are very expensive nevertheless, sort of probes. All right, folks, I hope you were able to get something out of my demonstration. This is something that's not going to be subject to return unless it doesn't work at least as well as I was showing you there. I simply can't afford to take returns from people who want to buy this and try it out and then abuse the return policy to send it back. I've had that happen too many times, so I can only take it back if it's in the same condition that it was when it was received, if it is dead, or if it is non-functional. So those are my conditions, and hope you all have a good week. Bye-bye.